Welcome to another episode of Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, a program which highlights the gains agriculture can fetch us as a nation, the efforts of the Ministry of Agriculture to harness these potentials, and the successes of stakeholders. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about palm oil and how, as one of the products of the oil palm tree, it can turn around Nigeria's economic fortunes and bring about sustainable prosperity for the country. But after palm oil is produced, then what next? That is the question we'll be answering on tonight's episode of the program. My name is Ibrahim Yusuf, urging you to stay tuned. We'll begin with highlights of happenings contained in the diary of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, starting with details of the recent town hall meeting on the pod borer-resistant cowpea. Please stay with us.
The Institute for Agricultural Research, IAR, Zaria, has held a town hall meeting in its bid to expose farmers to breakthroughs recorded in its research efforts, especially with regards to its pod borer-resistant cowpea and its stellar maize varieties. The event, which held in Kano last month, was part of activities by the Institute to help farmers get more from their efforts. Speaking at the event, Executive Director of the IAR, Professor Muhammad Ishaku, noted that it is important for such innovations to be made known to those who will benefit from them.
We are here to discuss new innovations on maize and cowpea, and farmers can testify that these innovations have improved their productivity, and even consumers can confirm the quality of their produce.
Also present were representatives of the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, AATF, one of the collaborating bodies for the event, as well as representatives of the Kano State government. Details of the improved seeds were contained in technical presentations by officials of the IAR.
Tailor-made seed is improved and capable of resisting insect infestations, which is a problem we farmers are familiar with.
There are three main insects that usually affect cowpea, but there is a particular one that once it enters the farm, it destroys everything.
The release of the pod borer-resistant cowpea by the Institute marked a turning point for farmers who have for long suffered losses either from damages caused by the pod borer insect or from export restrictions on their produce due to chemical residue caused by over-application of pesticides.
The impression I have is that farmers have been very satisfied with these two products, the way we explain the product to them. And they already, many of them knows already directly PBR cowpea, the Sampi 20 now it is called, because many have grown them in their fields. So it is good impression. I think that PBR cowpea is on its way to be a very good success.
Earlier on, we have improved cowpea in the area of shortening its maturity period. We have also developed cowpea varieties that are tolerant to drought, and we have equally expanded into the development of cowpea varieties that will answer the consumption pattern of different consumers of cowpea. We are continually, as this meeting shows, stakeholders will come forward with more and more problems, and we are continuously improving. As long as consumers, processors come up with problem, we will get back to our research and be able to tackle the problem. That is what we are doing.
I am very excited for this new cowpea seeds that they introduced to us. Before now, I thought it is impossible to separate insects from cowpea. But with this new cowpea variety, we have gone to the farm, we have tasted it, and we have seen for ourselves that it can resist insects and produce better yield.
We are happy with this day, and we thank the Institute for these new innovations. I am also very grateful that women are partaking.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mohammed Sabo Nanono, has said that government has no plans to reopen the country's borders for the importation of rice and related commodities. He said there was no going back on the decision to ensure Nigeria produces its own rice. Nanono was speaking as a flag-off of the distribution of agricultural inputs to farmers affected by the recent flood in Kebbi State. The inputs distributed to farmers included rice, guinea corn, cowpea, and millet seeds. This was in furtherance of the promise made by the minister when he inspected the extent of damage caused by floods in Kebbi State a few months ago. He observed that government was committed to boosting the agricultural sector through encouraging local production and therefore had no intention of reopening the borders to food importation. Nanono added that such measures like providing inputs for farmers and encouraging them to go into dry season farming are some ways to regain what was lost, as well as boosting local production of crops like rice, guinea corn, and millet.
While Nigeria produces an estimated 1.03 million metric tons of palm oil annually, another estimated 330,000 metric tons of palm kernel oil is produced in the country every year. Now that is a lot of work, money and human resources. Even though this is only a fraction of what the country is capable of, there is a thriving industry for the various products within the palm kernel commodity. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we'll explore the situation of things, talk to operators and stakeholders, as well as probe the potentials of the palm kernel oil, among other products within the value chain of oil palm.
The oil palm tree is a bundle of benefits. The tree has several economic uses for man. The stem is used as wood for construction and fuel. The branches and leaves as palm fronds for shelter. The spine of the leaves as brooms. And of course, the palm fruits used to produce oils for food, cosmetics, and cake for animal feeds. Although intentional cultivation of oil palm in Nigeria is almost a century old, the country is yet to fully tap into all the benefits along the value chain. As the president of the National Palm Produce Association of Nigeria, NPAN, says, for oil palm development to work, Nigeria must increase the level of cultivation.
The price of palm oil in Nigeria is more expensive than it is in New York, than it is in London, than it is in Johannesburg, and also in Amsterdam, than it is in any major economic center of the world. What is the reason? The oil palm estates are far depleted. Our population are outgrown the number of oil palm estates that we have. But we have a lot of processors. You saw one on our way here. The mill is there, but there is no fruit to process. So they are all over the states. Plenty of them. You saw another one yesterday. So it is in many parts of this country.
In addition to providing land and supporting farmers to produce oil palm, there is also the need for specific efforts geared towards oil palm development in the country.
We need a council, National Oil Palm Development Council. That's what made Indonesia to take over from Malaysia. In fact, by now, Indonesia have also a council and a board for oil palm. So, we need a council as an act of the National Assembly to develop this industry. National Sugar Development Council is doing that for sugar, and you can see the massive investment that has come. We grow up to know St. Louis sugar and Oregon and the rest of them. Now it is Dangote sugar. Now it is Boa sugar. Now it is Tet and Lyle. All Nigerian sugar, all because there is a council that set policies that regulate the industry, and you come in and you look at it. If there are incentives, they will release it to investors.
Indeed, the potential is huge along the value chain, and every stakeholder is needed to drive its development.
We need concerted effort of government, development partners, stakeholders, and the Central Bank of Nigeria to chart a course for oil palm. Oil palm can give us minimum of 5 million jobs every year if we sit down.
A lot is already happening in the country. In Akwa Ibom State, for instance, which is arguably Nigeria's biggest producer of palm oil, there is a thriving industry. Apart from palm oil produced from harvested fruits, palm kernel oil is another major commodity produced here. After the palm oil is extracted, the nuts are collected and cracked open for crushing to produce palm kernel oil. At this palm kernel oil producing factory, the second stage of crushing is ongoing. The process is a long and well-structured chain of events.
And in this factory, we sell an average of 60 metric tons of crude kernel oil every week. That translates to about 20 metric tons, about 200 metric tons of palm kernel.
We get this kernel from those who buys from the local producers, the women in the village who crack on daily basis, sell in small quantities in kilograms, and then these merchants gathered it, put it in a truck, a 10 tons capacity, which is the least that we buy, and then driving through a weigh bridge, which is the measuring equipment that we have here, and then from there it gets into the factory where we do the shaking to separate impurities from the nut, which is actually what we're dealing on, and it gets to the machine, what we call expellers, that extract the oil, separate the chaff, and then get the oil through another long process, filtration, and then finally get to where we call the storage tank.
Once the oil is retrieved, the chaff, or what is known as the kernel cake, is also bagged and sold as feeds components for poultry and livestock. A ton of this cake sells for around 40,000 naira. Indeed, nothing is wasted. The crude palm kernel oil that is produced here is currently sold for about 550,000 naira per ton.
The products, in one word I would say, are being purchased by those that we call refiners, who are refiners. And maybe to say is that this production that is done right here, we extract what we call CPKO, crude palm kernel oil. And then there is another set of humans or business that does the refining to become edible oil.
For this entrepreneur, it's been a tough but highly satisfying journey. As he says, there's so much more to do.
For me, very satisfying. Satisfying in the sense that I've always had a desire to add value to palm. In fact, I won't die a good death if I don't have a refinery. Refinery will mean that I've traveled and well traveled. I see when you go to Malaysia, for instance, you see what these guys are doing with palm kernel oil, palm oil. It's enormous. Gasoline. They use gas, palm oil to do gasoline. That's gas. Petrol, like what we use here. A lot of things, medicals, cosmetics, so many. But I mean, we still find out in Nigeria, we are still at a pseudo level, very, very, very base level, very rudimentary level. And I think that if we have the opportunity and the right investments, we will do more, we will get more from palm than we get from oil.
This factory has 50 direct workers in the various units. This is apart from local women and youth who crack the nuts in their communities, the suppliers who buy the nuts from these women, and off-takers who buy the finished product for onward distribution to manufacturers. Along the palm kernel oil value chain, there is huge potential for revenue and employment. This also includes those who fabricate machine components. As promising as the sector is, this factory cannot fully maximize profit if infrastructure is not taken care of.
I'm trying not to be verbose. Cost of production will be reduced by 95% if power is brought to this factory. And I'm saying number 1, power, number 2, power, number 3, power. Every other thing, most of the machines here can be locally fabricated. Most of the machines here. Apart from the gearboxes that I have to bring. Nigerian people have a technology that can adapt. It's largely motorized.
This is one of the few individuals who have delved into the profitable palm kernel oil industry. There's still a long way to go for Nigeria, and that involves boosting production beginning with provision of land and cultivation of more oil palm trees. That is a task the current administration is aware of, partnering with bodies like the National Palm Produce Association of Nigeria, empowering institutions like the Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFOR, and consulting with other ministries and agencies of government critical to infrastructure and finance. There is hope that the country will get it right sooner than later.
From special palm oil, or red oil if you like, to palm kernel oil and other derivatives like soap, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, toothpaste, wax, ink, and many other products, the oil palm value chain is endless. Paying much more attention to that crucial sector will do the nation and the people a lot of good. Transforming agriculture in Nigeria continues with our next segment, Farmers Speak, as we hear the experience of an oil palm farmer. Let's take a listen.
The experience is encouraging. Very, very encouraging because the potential is there. The only limitation in oil palm farming is available resources. You can't even meet up with the market. You don't even talk about market.
So who do you sell to?
Wonderful. The consumers are everywhere now. Our brothers from the north are competing. They don't even allow our people here to have to even access the palm oil. They hustle even more than the citizens here. And the market is there. They will even require to pay you in advance so that as you produce, they'll come and cut it away. So market is not our headache, but producing the oil, having enough to supply. The demand is higher than the production.
also known as corn, is a cereal grain first domesticated by the indigenous people in southern Mexico about 10,000 years ago. Maize is today a staple food in many parts of the world, especially for large groups of people in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, with the total production surpassing that of even wheat and rice. The demand for maize almost hit 3 billion metric tons in 2019, with global production in the same year hovering around 1.1 billion metric tons, leaving a deficit of about 1.9 billion metric tons. In addition to maize being consumed directly by humans, maize is also used for corn ethanol, biofuel, animal feed, and other maize products such as cornstarch and corn syrup. The 6 major types of maize include dent corn, flint corn, pod corn, flour corn, and sweet corn. Although Central America and Mexico are the primary centers of origin for maize, the United States of America has the largest cultivated area dedicated to maize, followed by Brazil, China, Mexico, and India. The US also comes first in terms of production, followed by China. Nigeria is the 11th largest producer of maize in the world and the 2nd largest producer in Africa, only after South Africa. As at 2019, Africa had a total production volume of about 90 million metric tons, and Nigeria averaged a production volume of about 11 million metric tons, after South Africa with 16 million metric tons. Ethiopia is the 3rd largest producer in the continent with 8.4 million metric tons. Local demand for maize in Nigeria is as high as 12 million metric tons, leaving a deficit of over 1 million metric tons. That figure does not cover export requirement. Maize is consumed in different forms in Nigeria. It can be ground, fermented, and locally processed into pap, popularly known as ogi in the southwest, akamu in the east, and koko in the north. It is also industrially processed into custard powder and used as a raw material in the brewery and livestock feed manufacturing industry. The cob is boiled or roasted and eaten as a staple food by many people as well. The top producing states in Nigeria include Kaduna, Adamawa, Taraba, Bauchi, Gombe, Anambra, Benue, Kano, Kogi, Plateau, and Kwara states, among others.
It's truly heartwarming to find Nigerians working hard and thriving in sectors that promote import substitution, industrialization, employment generation, and wealth creation. The oil palm is one of such industries, and with the right focus and resources, Nigeria can become an even bigger player among other nations of the world. That is the much we can take on this episode of the program. Be sure to join us same time next week for another package. Enjoy the rest of the week and do stay safe.